Welcome to Naples Garage. It seems like car companies have been bragging about how much money they're losing. It's a cool thing to do, I guess. Well, you've been doing it for a long time, right?
That's my thing. Yeah, that's my whole YouTube channel. Yes.
Stellantis is coming on top this first half of 2025. They lost $2.7 billion. That's billion dollars.
I haven't lost that much yet, so I'm doing better than Stellantis.
Congratulations.
I've lost 2.7 thousand or 27,000 probably at one point, I think, selling off a group of cars, but not $1 billion. Holy smokes.
That's a lot, and a lot to do with tariffs and just cars not selling as well as they used to.
Yeah, you could ask, well, why is that? Well, they're building cars that nobody wants. They got rid of the trucks having the Hemi engines that they're bringing back.
They're bringing back in 2026. How excited are you for that?
Very excited. Everybody, I think they had like 10,000 pre-orders of Hemi Ram V8s just because we love our V8 so much, even though the Hurricane inline six twin turbo is probably going to be okay of an engine and is putting out the same amount of power, but people don't want that in their trucks. They want a V8.
Yeah.
So they're listening. We'll see if they're able to come back. But yeah, some horrible leadership over the years, and they are definitely paying for it and raising the prices on all their cars, hoping to make more money, just meant that they didn't sell cars. So, who'd have thunk?
Kind of do some restructuring perhaps, but the thing that surprised me was they didn't sell Maserati, and I know we were talking about possibly offloading that and doing something with that. Do you think that's something they should still be considering doing?
I think that if they can find somebody dumb enough to buy Maserati, they should take whatever they're offering, because if they're not going to use Pininfarina to style the cars and they're not getting Ferrari-derived engines, nobody's going to buy that junk.
Right.
Nobody's going to care. Nobody's going to buy it. So their days are numbered.
Right.
But there's plenty of billionaires that are going to show up and want to own a car company like Maserati. So get that bag. Come out and Stellantis. Yeah, ask $2.7 billion. See what happens. You'll get probably 27 million or 270 million, but man, that's massive.
Right.
That's massive.
A lot of tariffs coming into play, but also with GM, they lost $1.1 billion, and a lot of that has to do with tariffs, which was supposed to help the American car industry.
Right. Well, they're taking everything to Canada, Mexico, as far as a lot of their production, and built their whole, economy and how their vehicles are put together around, basically a free trade agreement between Canada and Mexico. And that costs American jobs, which obviously the current administration wants to fix with these tariffs. But man, when you just throw it at companies and they have to figure it out, obviously $1.1 billion, that is a staggering loss.
But they're still doing okay because they still make, like 40 to 50 billion. So I think they're going to be okay.
Right, but the quality's been in the toilet, and they've had their head in the sand as far as that massive recall finally on the 6.2-liter V8. So I was born and bred GM guy, General Motors and lots of Chevys and GMCs and Denali's in the family.
Right.
And we're mad.
Yeah.
we're not happy with them right now, that's for sure. Hopefully they go back to building higher quality products that are just built to last, like, do I need to say it? The 2006 Cadillac Escalade?
No, you don't need to say. But the EQS that we recently got, there are some quality, well, I don't know if I say quality issues with it, but people aren't loving it. And it's shocking that they're lowering the prices for it.
Well, with tariffs, and I timed this like perfect. Like I think, man, this EQS, this is interesting. Let's try this out. So when I get the EQS, and then there's all these bombshell news stories a week after I buy the car.
Right.
I am so proud of myself. And so the EQS, they've slashed the prices up to $15,000, $20,000 for some of them, like the SUVs.
There's the EQS SUV. They cut $15,000. EQE SUV, $13,000. They cut off of that. EQE sedan, $10K off of that. And the EQS sedan is $4K off of that. And it's weird because I feel like, if I came at you with, here's a cool product, it's this much and no one really wanted it, and then you lower the price of it. It's just kind of like, no, you need to start over with a new car.
Well, it's surprising that Mercedes is doing it because the way they've been selling them, and if you watch, there's a YouTuber called Bins and Bow Ties, where people are showing up with $20,000, $30,000 in negative equity on these cars because they bought at the height, and then the depreciation has been crazy. So they want to get into a new car, and the EQS is the one that works because they can discount with incentives 30, 40 grand off of an EQS to get them to move.
Right.
And banks look at it, if you have 30 grand in negative equity and they're selling the car for 90, it's 100 grand. They're able to hide all that negative equity, more than you owe,
right.
in the loan and make deals that way. And that was the only way they're moving these cars. So now they're slashing the prices, like the advertised prices, similar to what Tesla does, not doing rebates and incentives. And that's because also part of this new administration, they're getting rid of the EV rebate, the $7,500 rebate. So Mercedes knows they're sunk.
Right.
And so they're trying to push all the cars out before the end of September when this mandate goes away. And then they're cutting production on all of them except the EQS, the one we have.
Right. Well, I'm surprised because, well, some of them were made in Alabama. So that should be easy to still kind of have because you don't have to pay the tariffs for it, right?
Right.
So I don't, they should have those still around. Here's my question. When you're posting about the EQS, what are people saying in the comments about the shape of it? Because everyone's like, oh, it's the ugliest car I've ever seen in my whole life. Like one person in this article said it looks like a melting bar of soap, which like I can kind of relate to that.
There's a lot of comments saying it's ugly. There's some comments to say they like it. I like the rear angle of it, the rear quarter version of it, much better than the front. The interior looks nice. The big issue, if they built this with the range that it has, which is pretty impressive, if they had just done S-Class quality, real S-Class quality, like comparing it to the gasoline car, it would have been fine. It would have been a hit. The styling, they could have tweaked a little bit and made it better, but you can't dispute the lack of quality in comparison to the normal S-Class. And the fact that they thought they could get away with a $110,000 plus car and call it an S, an EQS, when their own comparison vehicle is staring people right in the face in the showrooms and they see the big difference. Nobody's going to buy the EQ because the S-Class is just so much nicer for the same money.
It is. The quality's nicer. The look is nicer. I don't like the blobby looks, but it has the lowest drag coefficient of any car. And so it's like, this is practical. This is what we should have. And obviously we are so superficial.
Yes.
I'm one of them where it's very ugly, but it's the most practical car to cut through the air.
And I am sorry because all this stuff started hitting the fan right when the car showed up. And I was like, oh, this is kind of Hoovie's Garage content here. So I stole the car from Abel's Garage and made Hoovie's Garage videos on it. So I am sorry. But there is one car that we did an April's Garage video about that is now making headlines because of, I think, going away because of tariffs, the Dodge Hornet.
Oh my gosh, this thing. Why did they make it? It's like they're saying it's the rebadge Alfa Romeo for America.
Yeah.
And I don't get it. It's ugly. Like, let's get rid of it. Why are they even making it again in 2026?
There's nobody buying these things. They're using tariffs as an excuse to pause production, but nobody was buying these before because they're supposed to be the cheap vehicle, like the Jeep Renegade would have been one, the Jeep Patriot, or Compass, I guess Compass would be more like a Dodge Caliber, that type of thing.
Right.
But it's $40,000. It's built on an Italian kind of platform and feels high quality and all that stuff, but you can't replace your $20,000 cheap crossover with a $40,000 one and expect people to buy it. It's the dumbest thing ever.
Yeah, now it's going to get even more expensive starting August 1st because there's a 30% tariff being added onto them, which I think they're just going to tank.
They're just completely killing it for now. They're pausing it while these tariffs exist, and I doubt that they'll bring it back. I wonder if it's the same thing with the Buicks made in China, because that was a big deal for Buick to have a Chinese-made cheap Buick that was selling very well. But if there's big tariffs, then that's smoked as well. So, yeah, but Stellantis, all bad news. The only good news coming out of it is people are hearing about the gasoline-powered Charger.
Gasoline? What is that? Oh no!
Yeah. So there's one article on the Drive saying the Charger 6-pack is back, and it sounds nasty.
And I want you to hear, because there's a little clip in Detroit where you can hear one driving by.
It sounds.
Tell me what you hear.
It doesn't sound nasty. It sounds like it farts. He's turning around. There's police that have closed off the road in Detroit so they can make this commercial or promo or whatever. So that is an inline-six twin turbo. I'm sure that's a Hurricane.
100, like can hear that and visualize that, like you know the engine sound.
It sounds like a turbocharged inline engine. It sounds like I don't know, like a BMW that's been tuned with no muffler, like some kids got a hold of it. the fart shifts in between when, the blow-off valves and the turbos, all that, all that stuff's happening. It makes that kind of noise. So their first gasoline charger is going to be an inline six.
Are they making it a mistake? Do they need to make it a Hemi?
They should have just paused and waited and done the Hemi. I'm sure it'll be something like $60,000. Nobody's going to buy it.
Like, why do you think they're going inline six when obviously they're, everyone that loves them, loves Dodge, wants that Hemi in there?
Because the mistakes that they made 5 or 10 years ago, as far as the engineering pipeline, they decided a long time ago they're coming out with the electric one first, and then they're going to make the platform good for the inline six that was supposed to replace the Hemi. They can't just change everything overnight because it takes years of development and all this stuff, engineering, to create these things. So they sort of have to stay the course. I imagine with the horrible reception of the electric ones, they're probably rushing to get a gasoline one out as soon as they possibly can. But I don't think people are going to be excited. It's going to be more of the same if people just be like, I don't want that.
But if they want to be successful, what do you think the price point of it needs to be?
Half?
Right.
It needs to be in the high 30s as far as the starting price and having decent power. And four-door, I know they're coming out with a four-door version of it, which will help a lot as far as selling it to people. But yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Like the Ford Crown Vic, that whole Panther platform back in the day with the Lincoln Town Car on there. I mean, having different levels of that definitely worked. And Dodge could be the only name of the game as far as people doing it. With this platform, having like a big rear-wheel drive car and do well for fleets and rentals and police cars, and then people wanting some performance. So they could do it. It's just they made a huge mistake by alienating their fan base and going electric and then making Jeeps $100,000. It's the most obvious, unforced Captain Hindsight thing. Everybody saw this coming. Everybody except the people at Stellantis.
I like Captain Hindsight. That's a nice guy.
So actually April's challenge with this. So April's been saying, shouldn't we ask people to subscribe to the channel? And like, no, people don't do that. That's not cool to do. And I just did it in my last video and I gained like 8,000 subscribers in 24 hours. And I was reluctant to show it to her because she brought it up multiple times. But about 40% of you actually aren't subscribed to April's Garage YouTube channel. 40% of you. So, like easily 30,000 of you, 50 to 50,000 watching this video. So why not just go down there and hit that button? And look how happy it would make April.
That would make me so happy. Thanks so much for watching.